Oh, mon Dieu, yes, those imbeciles of magicians can only imagine things to torment honest people. And what did you reply to his most illustrious eminence? That if the astrologer in question made almanus, I would advise him not to buy one. Why not? Because before you could escape you would have to be turned into a bird. Unfortunately, that is true. Let us go and have a game at tennis. Law Remy, my lord, I beg your highness's pardon, but I must beg for half an hour's leave of absence. Why? Because Monsignor Mazarin is a prouder man than his highness. Though not of such high birth, he forgot to ask me to breakfast. Well, shall I send for some breakfast here? No. My lord, I must tell you that the confectioner, who lived opposite the Castle de Marty, as they called him, well, well, he sold his business a week ago to a confectioner from Paris. An invalid, ordered country air for his health. Well, what have I to do with that? Why, good lord, this man, your highness, when he saw me stop before his shop, where he has a display of things which would make your mouth water, my lord asked me to get him the custom of the prisoners in the donjon. I bought, said he, the business of my predecessor on the strength of his assurance that he supplied the castle, whereas, on my honour, Monsieur de Chavigny, though I've been here a week, has not ordered so much as a tartlet. But, I then replied, probably Monsieur de Chavigny is afraid your pastry is not good. My pastry not good? Well, Monsieur la Remy, you shall judge of it yourself, and at once. I cannot, I replied. It is absolutely necessary for me to return to the chateau. Very well, said he. Go and attend to your affairs, since you seem to be in a hurry, but come back in half an hour. In half an hour, yes. Have you breakfasted? Faith, no. Well, here is a pate that will be ready for you, with a bottle of old Burgundy. So, you see, my lord, since I am hungry, I would, with your highness's leave, and La Remy bent low, go. Then, animal, said the duke, but remember, I only allow you half an hour. May I promise your custom to the successor of Father Marty? My lord? Yes, if he does not put mushrooms in his pies. Thou knowest that mushrooms from the wood of Vincennes are fatal to my family. La Remy went out, but in 5 minutes one of the officers of the guard entered in compliance with the strict orders of the cardinal that the prisoner should never be left alone a moment. During these 5 minutes the duke had had time to read again the note from Madame de Montbazin, which proved to the prisoner that his friends were concerting plans for his deliverance, but in what way he knew not. But his confidence in Grimaud, whose petty persecutions he now perceived were only a blind, increased, and he conceived the highest opinion of his intellect, and resolved to trust entirely to his guidance. Chapter XIX, made by the successor of Father Marty, are described. In half an hour La Remy returned, full of glee, like most men who have eaten, and more especially drank to their heart's content. The pates were excellent, the wine delicious. The weather was fine, and the game at tennis took place in the open air. At 2 o'clock the tennis balls began, according to Grimaud's directions, to take the direction of the moat, much to the joy of La Remy, who marked 15 whenever the duke sent a ball into the moat, and very soon balls were wanting. So many had gone over. La Remy then proposed to send some one to pick them up, but the duke remarked that it would be losing time, and going near the rampart himself, and looking over, he saw a man working in one of the numerous little gardens cleared out by the peasants on the opposite side of the moat. "Hey, friend!" cried the duke. The man raised his head, and the duke was about to utter a cry of surprise. The peasant, the gardener, was Rochefort, whom he believed to be in the Bastille. "Well, who's up there?" said the man. "Be so good as to collect and throw us back our balls," said the duke. The gardener nodded and began to fling up the balls. which were picked up by La Ramee and the guard. One, however, fell at the duke's feet, and seeing that it was intended for him, he put it into his pocket. La Ramee was in ecstasies at having beaten a prince of the blood. The duke went indoors and retired to bed, where he spent, indeed, the greater part of every day, as they had taken his books away. La Ramee carried off all his clothes, in order to be certain that the duke would not stir. However, the duke contrived to hide the ball under his bolster, and as soon as the door was closed, he tore off the cover of the ball with his teeth and found underneath the following letter: "My lord, your friends are watching over you, and the hour of your deliverance is at hand. Ask day after tomorrow to have a pie supplied you by the new confectioner opposite the castle, and who is no other than Nermant, your former maitre d'hotel. Do not open the pie till you are alone. I hope you will be satisfied with its contents. Your Highness's most devoted servant." In the Bastille, as elsewhere, Comte de Rochefort. The duke, who had latterly been allowed a fire, burned the letter, but kept the ball and went to bed, hiding the ball under his bolster. La Ramee entered. He smiled kindly on the prisoner, for he was an excellent man, and had taken a great liking for the captive prince. He endeavoured to cheer him up in his solitude. "Ah, my friend," cried the duke, "you are so good, if I could but do as you do, and eat pates and drink Burgundy at the house of Father Martys' successor,